Jordan Schultz, our NFL insider, officially at Fox. We got stuff to get to.
Yes, sir.
Big stuff. Let's start with Haason Reddick. Now, the Jets got pushed around by what we perceived as a pretty weak O-line. Trent Williams arrived late in the camp. What is the latest on that?
Okay, so let me take you back to the March 29th era, right? When the Jets traded for Haason Reddick, before that trade even happened, Colin, they were given permission to negotiate with him by Philadelphia. They could not find a deal. They made an offer. He didn't think it was good enough. And then they still made the deal anyway. Joe Douglas said, let's get you in the building and let's make some magic once we get you here.
Yeah.
Then what happens? They tell Haason Reddick, if you show up for your initial press conference, March 29th, March 30th, we will in good faith negotiate a new contract, but let's at least find you here in the building again, and let's find some good faith, right? Let's make this a good rapport between us. So what happens then? They have not spoken since March 29th, Colin. So you're talking 6 months, and he obviously hasn't been in the building. He's been getting fined. He had an $800,000 game check he lost by not showing up for the 49ers game. So this has gotten to the point where everyone knows it's not only unfriendly, there's no communication.
Ugh.
And as a result of that, it makes you think, how much longer can this go on?
Wow. Bengals Jamar Chase. Listen, they got beat by New England, couldn't move the chains. He was limited in his effectiveness. What's the latest on that?
So they got close, both sides. Cincinnati and Chase got close. They were in the vicinity of a deal. Cincinnati did what Cincinnati does. This is a small market franchise that does not like to give huge contracts. Now, they broke precedent last year with Joe Burrow. They made him the highest paid ever, $55 million. They should have, in my opinion, done the same with Jamar Chase, because what's going to happen is the same thing that happened with Dallas and CD and Dallas and Dak. I told you 6 months ago, Dak Prescott was going to get paid $60 million. He was going to be the first quarterback ever to get that number. Dallas waited. Cincinnati, by waiting, it's not like they're not going to pay Jamar Chase. In fact, I think what's going to happen, you can book it right now, he will be the first receiver ever to get $40 million. That's my prediction. Jamar Chase next year will be the highest paid receiver ever, because the number keeps going up and up. We already saw it this year with Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase is on the same level as Joe Burrow. These are the top at their position. He's a homegrown guy. And on top of that, Colin, what bothered me, if I'm a fan, I felt Jamar Chase handled it with class. He didn't hold out. He didn't hold in. He participated in individual drills. He practiced a little bit, and they still didn't get a deal done.
Give us the truth on Justin Fields and Russell.
I think Pittsburgh feels that it's easier to go from Justin Fields to Russ than it is from Russ to Fields.
Interesting.
I really believe that. And I think Mike Tomlin's going to be tested here, Colin, because he's always said, my guys, if you're the starter, you cannot lose your job due to an injury. Now Russell Wilson has the injury. Justin Fields is 1-0. Let's say he goes 2-0. Are you really going to say, we're not going to play you anymore? I don't know how you bench a quarterback who's 2-0. Now, they can say Russ is still hurt, but at some point he's going to be healthy. And I thought what we saw from the preseason of Russ, he didn't look sharp at all. This is an offensive line that's dealing with some injuries. Isaac Seumalo, their Pro Bowl caliber guard. So to me, the Steelers are going to be predicated on running the football anyway. They were cautious, Arthur Smith was, against the Falcons because of Jesse Bates. I think they'll open it up more, but I think Justin Fields gives you a higher upside, and I think Mike Tomlin knows that.
Rams are a mess physically.
Yes.
Are they worried in the building?
Yes.
They are.
Their entire offensive line, except for Jonah Jackson, is decimated. Whether it's suspensions, IR, Avila, Alaric Jackson, Havenstein, you can go down the list. Then you lose Puka, you lose a corner. Listen, to me, Sean McVay, despite all the bells and whistles, he still wants to run the football. This is a guy who wants to be physical. Now, they were not unable to do that. 10 carries, 40 yards for Kyren Williams. Blake Corum didn't play, but they're not going to be able to establish the run with the offensive line as it is. Now, they have a capable backup. They signed Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. He's suspended, but Matt Stafford is the franchise. And without Puka Nacua and Tyler Higbee, by the way, who's on IR, they're tied in.
They just don't have 7 starters.
No, they don't. And to me, when you lose Aaron Donald, Like, that changed the whole landscape of the team. I still think this is a good football team, and at some point they're going to be competitive. But it reminds me a lot, Colin, after they won the Super Bowl, they came back in 2022, and they were decimated by injuries again. That division is better. Arizona's better. I think Seattle's better, and we know what the Niners are.
Jayden Daniels struggled. Dan Quinn okay with it? How do they feel?
They're so high on Jayden Daniels that, to me, a one game or even a month sample size is not going to matter. I think what we saw from Jayden Daniels in week 1 was similar to what we saw with Caleb Williams. They were very cautious. They couldn't necessarily run the football with Swift or Eckler in Washington or Brian Robinson. Jayden Daniels is going to get opened up. We've talked about this, Colin, and I know you said you remember his freshman year at Arizona State when he weighed 170 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
This guy is immensely talented, and I've talked so much at length with Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn about what's the upside for Jayden Daniels. What does he give you? He's a franchise cornerstone. They believe in him. They're going to develop him, but just like Caleb Williams, it's not a finished product. It's going to take time.
Yeah. Bo Nix wasn't bad.
Your guy.
He had one bad pick, but they asked him to throw 42 times. He wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad.
Sean likes him.
I think Bo Nix, he surprised me because he got better. He locked in a little bit. That run was everything you love about Bo Nix, that touchdown run. He's what they thought he was, and he's everything that they haven't had. And the 61 career starts in college matters. I know he's older, but who cares? I think by the end of the season, Bo Nix is going to be, you're going to look at him, you're going to say, this is the franchise quarterback for Denver. But I liked what I saw. I thought he was aggressive. He takes shots. He's tough. And I talked to Patrick Surtain last week about him before the first game. And I said, what is it about Bo Nix that you like? And he said, the number one thing that stands out with Bo Nix is the accuracy and the placement. It's very catchable ball.
Yeah.
And for a corner of his caliber to say that, I thought that was significant. I like Bo Nix, and I think Sean's going to make him a very good quarterback.
No, I've talked to Sean briefly, texted him, and he thinks he's got a real winner. It should also be noted, Jayden has a defensive coach. Penix does.
Yeah.
Caleb does. Drake May does. One of them has an offensive coach. For a rookie quarterback, that is something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It is something.
It is. So 61 college starts. He's got his Franklin, the receiver.
Yeah.
Is it Troy?
Troy Franklin from Oregon.
Yeah. So he's got that guy there. And Peyton's just, I mean, let's be honest. If you're going to have a mentor, Andy Reid, Shanahan, McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Sean Payton, it matters. It does help. All right. Good stuff. Jordan Schultz, NFL Insider. He'll be on Speak today. Just flying in here with insider stuff.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.